All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it's been a little bit of time since we had the pleasure to talk about localization issues in anime, video games, and whatnot. And now we are here talking about exactly that. There is a video game called Story of Seasons that is facing a lot of backlash right now for a multitude of reasons. The number one reason is that localizers, unfortunately, love to ruin things, right? They love to interject their ideology into video games that don't have it, because the simple truth is that these people are incapable of making their own thing. If they were to make their own thing, nobody would care. We might laugh at it, but nobody would care. You are co-opting a video game and trying to turn it into your own form of activism because you are absolutely worthless at your job, and this is why AI is taking over. But there is a video game called Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. It's coming out on August 27th of this year, and apparently people are getting banned for calling out the fact that they took male and female, sex/gender, and turned it into pronouns. I am not kidding. They decided to take something that had zero ideology to it and then added the ideology into it simply because they wanted to. There is a person here on X called Scouter V. This person says, I got permabanned from the Story of Seasons Steam community page for calling out the localizer, Robin Griffin, for translating sex/gender into pronouns, and they deleted my entire thread. I'll take it as a badge of honor. Leave the kids alone, Robin. So really quick, I decided to go check out Robin's page, and of course, like most of these localizers, once they are caught doing something that clearly wasn't in the original game, has absolutely nothing to do with translation whatsoever, and it is simply an ideological push, they go protected, because of course they are. Obviously they're going to go protected. They always go protected. There's nothing too shocking about that. So let's see this screen cap here from Scouter V and see what's going on. It says, you have been banned from Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar Community Hub. The original post was the following. The original game from Scouter V says, had boy and girl. The English version of this game has pronouns and non-binary options, and it's a game rated E for everyone. Leave the kids alone, Tia. Weirdo. And then the person Tia says, I am going to ignore that. I don't have a problem with that. The game developers have every right to make the game how they want, and they own it. We don't. Now, full stop. That is an absolute lie, because they are not the ones doing this, right? It is not the developers that are necessarily doing this. It is translators that are doing this. They are telling the Japanese that this is how these words are to be translated in the American market. That is a lie. We have actual words that go boy and girl, right? Just because in the Japanese they have boy and girl doesn't mean we translate that to non-binary and pronouns and all this stuff. We don't, that's unbelievable. Again, these are the people that are choosing to do this, and they're trying to gaslight you and say, well, the developers are the ones that did it. No, they weren't. But in any case, live sims in general should have options for players whoever they want and marry whoever they want. I am not doing anything to kids. Now, that's another gaslight, okay? It's another gaslight because, quite frankly, these are people that are ideologically captured. If you are going to do something like this, just make your own game, right? There has been games out there that have been made for that particular audience. They usually flop tremendously if they are games that are made specifically from the ground up for that audience and didn't have a pre-established franchise that they could leech off of. But still, you have the full right to make these games. That is, that's within your right. Go fund it. Go make your own game. Add all the pronouns you want. Add all the ideology you want, and hope for the best. But that's not what they're doing here. They're doing what they always do, which is co-opting something that already existed, and especially in this scenario, co-opting something that definitely didn't have it in the original game and said, hey, we're going to translate it like this because since we can't add it to the game, this is how we're going to add it, by translating it and convincing the developers that this is the proper translation. It's so insane. So anyway, Scouter V ends up responding to that response that I just read and said, again, this should not be rated E for kids. On top of that, the devs listed it as choose your gender, boy and girl, in the Japanese version. A 30-year-old single female activist by the name of Robin Griffin translated the game incorrectly to push this agenda on English speakers. You're gonna play this girl's version of this game, not the devs' original version. Exactly, 100%. You are playing the localizers version. You're playing the activist version. You're not playing the version that the developers wanted you to play. It is really just unfortunate, but this is the problem with localization in anime, in video games, and beyond. it is a big problem. And this is why AI is taking over. These people are the ones who should lose their jobs to AI, in my opinion. These are the people that are actively trying to ruin the scene and interject their ideology into absolutely everywhere, even though it was never there to begin with. Now, the ban reason, by the way, blank. It says absolutely nothing. I think that's hilarious, by the way. So they banned Scouter V, and they didn't even give a reason. It's just completely blank. It says, while this ban is active, you will not be able to post or comment in the story of Season's Grand Bazaar Community Hub or upload new content to this Community Hub. Now, I decided, for the fun of it, let's go over to the Steam forums for Grand Bazaar. Let me refresh it and see exactly what's going on here and see if anybody's talking about it. Oh, look. Everybody's talking about it. When you go to the Steam forum page, you're going to realize there is a multitude of different threads talking about this. Let's look at this one. Skipping this for the woke localization. Western release getting they, them pronouns. I'm not going to support this slop. Same, such a shame. And then if you go here, censorship and progressive propaganda warning. If you care about playing authentic games, they don't push for Californian mental illness to the detriment of the original story and settings, or if you're tired of people pushing for the delusional pronouns, do not buy this game. The original Japanese studio clearly made the game around characters being either male or female sex, not gender, and definitely not pronouns. I sincerely ask for people that don't like such practices to reflect on their language. When you're using words like gender instead of sex, don't be surprised when a man is in your mom's bathroom or competing with your daughter in sports. After all, it's his gender to be a woman. As I said, if you're tired of this propaganda, don't buy the game or support Marvelous for its vandalism. If you like this kind of stuff, be my guest and buy the game. It's up to you. I'm not your dad. This person says not going to buy the game and will wait for a base translation or even AI translation from the Japanese. So, you know, when I've talked about this stuff, I made it very clear that unfortunately the Japanese just really truly believe they're Western teams, right? Because all of these companies have Western teams that they utilize for not only their localization, but, you know, basically for consultation. Like what does the West like? And unfortunately, a lot of these localizers and a lot of these groups that they use for consultation, they're all completely ideologically captured. Almost every single one of them. So what ends up happening is the Japanese get really bad information. This ended up happening to Square Enix, which resulted in the creation of a video game like Forspoken. When they specifically wanted to make a game for Western audiences, and they'd had consultancy groups come in and try to tell them what the Western audience wants, and then we got that godforsaken game that they thought was going to be a massive hit, and it ended up losing them millions of dollars. This is the problem, and this is what happens when you listen to these psychopaths, right? This person says pronouns, what the fuck? And it says, this for a kid's game? Are you freaking serious about putting this political crap in it for real? I would not buy it anyway, but don't buy this nonsense. And that person got banned, by the way. Did you notice that pretty much almost everybody, look, this person banned. Tommy Wolf got completely banned. Did this person get banned? Not from the looks of it. Let's see. Maybe it was too soon. Did this person get banned? Nope, not from the looks of it. So Tommy ended up getting banned. It's very clear that people aren't getting banned for bringing this comment up. ESRB rating system just found out this company is placing left-wing extremist ideologies into the game. A team is forming to push legislation to make games that push these ideologies into kids' games to be marked more accurately as M for mature. My daughter's wife and I are going to get this game, but after finding out they place extreme liberal ideologies and sexual content like gender ideology theories, we will be boycotting this game and fighting to remove such content from children's game. This game is M for mature. So it's pretty clear, ladies and gentlemen, that people are pissed, right? People are obviously not very happy. I wonder how this is going to affect the sales of the game, if it affects it at all. But at this point, I think it's pretty clear that they done messed up. I wonder if they're going to make a statement about this. I highly doubt it, to be honest with you. I think they're going to stay pretty quiet about all of it and hope that it blows over. But it seems like Scouter V is one of many people that are getting banned on the Steam forums for essentially speaking their opinion about what the localizer Robin Griffin decided to do. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this? What do you think about localizers in general? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.